So, Shanae, I checked the weather in the Bay. I brought a jacket, but I should have been prepared.
You should have, girl.
For a Curry flurry.
You known better.
That was certainly the case last night in the Bay. I'm glad my parents got to come and see this game. The Warriors and the Nuggets. Aaron Gordon, he would have the hot hand in this one. He couldn't miss in the first half. Shot 7 of 7 from 3.
You see, athletic players can rely on their talent, but you have longevity when you expand your game, knocking down 10 threes for AG, baby. Beautiful.
By the way, San Jose kid showing out, going back home to the Bay Area here. Let's go ahead to the fourth quarter, though, because this is where things got good. The Nuggets lead by 5. Jokic backs down the defender. That's such a tough little floater he takes there, Brian.
He actually didn't have his best game, but he still made impacts all over the floor.
Yeah, he still had a triple-double, 21 points, 10 assists, 13 rebounds. But then Steph Curry took over.
That was a shot. When you see the shimmy, it's night-night.
When you see the shimmy, you know it's going to shake. But Aaron Gordon had an answer yet again. Came up huge from 3. Gordon put the Nuggets up here. So the Warriors, they need a bucket. Who are you going to call? Steph Curry. Curry pulls up from deep. That's a layup from him. He nails it.
It's the second most impressive thing I've seen Steph do in the last week. The other was outdriving Bryson DeChambeau.
Well, he had a couple more impressive things to do in this game here for you, Brian. So final seconds here, game all tied at 120. Jamal Murray gets in the action, tries to give it to Nikola Jokic. That's a guy who you want to take the shot, couldn't quite get it to fall. Adelman was irate. He wanted a foul called on that play. Wouldn't happen. So to overtime
free
we
basketball.
go. Shanae, more free basketball because we already got 2 in the early game. Jimmy Butler, the closer, handed it off to Steph Curry. He was red hot.
Let's close this up. Steph Curry is the NBA's Ghostbuster.
Can't give him any space. What are you going to do?
Miss. Jimmy Butler dishes out to Big Al Horford in the corner for 3. This is why we're not going to call him the old man. We're going to call him the seasoned vet here, a champion. Once again, Al relocates quick on his feet. Back out to Jimmy Butler. Nails the 3 to get it to go. Steph Curry, he wanted to hit Jimmy with the night-night there. What happened, bro?
Yeah, I was hoping he'd give it back, but he left me on an island. Draymond hit one last year, so I thought I could share the honor.
That's all right. He won't leave you on read next time. Curry finished with 41 points. The Dubs spoiled Gordon's 50-point night. Here's Steph.
There's 80 games left, so you kind of understand you don't want to get too ahead of yourself, but building blocks on an understanding of how to win, the selflessness of a team that can have 8 or 9 guys in a closing lineup, realistically. I don't think that closing lineup, Al, Jimmy, Draymond, JK, and myself had gotten any real reps in training camp. But when you understand who you're playing against and what it takes to win this particular game, the collective IQ and just toughness got us over the hump.
He says toughness. Well, let's take a look at the lineup because Steve Kerr and Steph Curry said that lineup, Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, Horford, Kuminga, they've not even practiced together, and yet they finished with a +10 in only 8 minutes of action. Their best lineup all night. I wonder if we're going to see that lineup a little bit more as we welcome in our NBA champ, Kendrick Perkins. Perk, 2 impressive wins thus far for the Warriors against contending hopefuls in the Western Conference. Have they shown you anything? Have you learned something about this Dubs team?
It's early, but I do want to overreact. The Warriors are my sleepers to win it all, okay? The Warriors are my sleepers to win it all. Here's why. I mean, the determination, the want, the will that I saw out of Steph Curry, that light-skinned brother with the green eyes last night. For 3.5 quarters, I thought Denver was going to eventually pull away with this game. For him to step up and do what he did, overshadowing Aaron Gordon, historic night, 50 points. Jokic with a 21-point triple-double. Jamal Murray with 25 points. And I'm watching him and Steve Kerr, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond. They are embodying and trusting in Jonathan Kuminga. He was in the game late in the fourth quarter and in overtime. On top of that, I watched Steve Kerr draw the first play out for him when they started overtime, and I'm saying, oh, they're clicking. They're together. They got one agenda, one goal that's led by Steph Curry, and they are my sleepers to win it all. Sleeper to win it all.
I will say that this game illustrated the Aaron Gordon story, which has been very interesting over the last couple of years. He was so vital in their finals run. He has turned himself into a great 3 three-point shooter these last couple of years. This is one of the hottest games you could ever have. And when it was over, he just had to look at Steph. Did you see what he did at the end of the game? I'm not going to say what he said, but you know what he said. It's and what else are you going to say? That is exactly right. Steph's like, you know what? You are correct, sir. I am. And so the fact that the Warriors were resilient enough to overcome this type of performance just illustrates how hard it's going to be to beat them this year, and maybe how hard it's going to be to beat them 4 out of 7.
The Curry flurry gets the highlight, but Big Al Horford saved the day. Defensively, because we all know offense is their bread and butter. Defensively is where this team is truly going to separate themselves. What Al Horford did against Nikola Jokic, impressive, held him to 3 of 12 shooting. But most importantly, he allows the Golden State Warriors to play defensively with versatility. You remember, Draymond Green, all he does is guard 5s. No, in this matchup right here, he's guarding Jamal Murray. This is a luxury that you have because Al Horford is on the floor. Now, if you're able to switch, Jokic is timing this out with a shot clock. Here comes the screen. There's a switch. Al is great at smothering those three-point shots, forces a pass. Look at how many Golden State Warriors are engaged on Jokic. Multiple in the paint, forcing deflection, huge stop, and it is contagious. Now this right here is what Steve Kerr has to love. Engagement from Jonathan Kuminga. Normally these could be easy buckets for other teams, but instead he's engaged. He said, hey Steph, I got your back right here. Going to the outside, I got your protection, and it forced another stop in overtime. I know those threes were sexy. I know those numbers were great, but defensively, we all know when you're in the trenches, you do the dirty work, that's when you are rewarded, and Al Horford is a big part of that.
Absolutely. Their defensive identity changed after bringing in Jimmy Butler. Al Horford, the extra.
It was a tough night, but a really good week, to go 2-1 with a 3 games in 4 nights in 3 different cities. I'll take it. But we've got to learn from this and do a much better job handling that kind of pressure.
Were there any combinations that you liked just from the different lineups you got? No.
Not tonight.
Speaking of good weeks, Jonathan had another performance where he kind of filled in a lot of gaps. We've talked a lot about him the last couple of weeks. Specifically the other night, you said you feel like he's maturing. What ways do you feel like you see it the most on the floor night to night?
Well, his passing has improved dramatically. He's made so many good passes, not only in games but in practices. I think he's seeing the floor better. But I just like the approach. I like the vibe that he's bringing. He's confident. He definitely feels like part of the team and what we're trying to do after all the contract stuff. I just think his teammates have been so good, Jimmy and Steph, Dre, all, welcoming him back with open arms and reminding him that contract stuff is contract stuff. So JK's had a really good start to the season. I'm proud of him, the way he's playing, and I'm excited for what's ahead for him and for us.
How much do you think fatigue was a factor? Fatigue tonight. How much do you think that was a factor?
Well, I think the NBA schedule is, everybody deals with whatever comes your way, and there's a lot of difficult, moments in the schedule, whatever. But tonight was not about that. It was about Portland and what they've built and the length and athleticism and the style of play. And they were brilliant. And so, I would be embarrassed to sit here and blame fatigue when a team just came out and just took it to us. So it was about them and their great play, and this city's going to really enjoy watching the Blazers because they play hard and they've got a real identity, and they're doing a really good job of kind of rebuilding the franchise after the long run with Terry and Dame and CJ. I mean, it's been a rough couple of years, but they've used that time wisely and built a really good roster.
What do you think about, or how do you feel like Bajemski's playing right now?
Well, Brennan wasn't at his best tonight, but he's. I thought in training camp he was excellent, but because we're shifting the starting lineup, or we'd shifted it tonight. I don't think there's a great rhythm for BP right now yet, but it's early in the season, and that's all part of it. This getting through the 82 games, every single player is going to go through spells and good and bad, and you just have to keep moving along.
Moses for a second. Once he settles back in, what kind of impact do you feel like he's poised to have?
Well, we saw last year, what he did the last 30 games, starting on the ball, knocking down shots, using his size and his length defensively. So, he really is a 3-and-D player, modern NBA player, he's going to find his rhythm here and help us win a lot of games.
Coach, I was wondering how's the team approach balancing the competitiveness with the long-term workload management, or maybe I used the wrong.
Yeah, it's that's part of the NBA season as a coach, is pacing your team through the 82 and recognizing nights like tonight where I think we played 12 people in the first half. We played everybody, obviously. And we knew we were going to do that coming in, and that's part of pacing the team, balancing what you're talking about, maintaining that competitive edge and understanding where you are in the schedule and that sort of thing. So it's part of the job.
How do you think about Will Richards' performance?
I thought Will was great. He's got a real knack for the game. He just makes plays out there at both ends, and really good young player. We're excited about him.
Quinton Post reveals what Stephen Curry did that mattered more than scoring. Quinton Post is quickly becoming one of the most intriguing young talents on the Golden State Warriors roster. In his rookie season, he quietly made a name for himself, shooting an impressive 40.8% from three-point range and averaging 8.1 points per game. As a modern stretch big, he's carved out a valuable role in the Warriors' rotation, and he's not done yet. During the preseason, Post continued to show his offensive potential, especially in a standout performance against the Portland Trail Blazers where he dropped 16 points, including 3 three-pointers. But when asked about his recent success, Post didn't take the credit for himself. Instead, he pointed to one major factor: Stephen Curry. "What you saw out there, that's just the effect of having Steph Curry on the floor," Post said. "He makes everything so much easier for everyone on offense. And defensively, I think we handled things much better than the last time we faced them." The game marked Curry's return after missing the previous matchup against the Lakers. And he didn't disappoint, putting up 28 points and leading the Warriors to a 118-111 win over Portland. "This was a big statement game for him," Post added. "He sat out last game and then came back and just took over. He said something before tip-off that really stuck with me. But more than anything, it's his leadership, the way he sets the tone, that makes the biggest difference." While Curry leads the way offensively, Post is focused on improving where it really matters for his position: rebounding. Despite his offensive contributions, Post pulled down only 2 defensive rebounds in the game. Not enough, he admits, for a player in his role. "We did a better job controlling the pace, but we still had too many turnovers. And on defense, I'm not even sure what the rebounding numbers were. I just know I need to be better. That's my priority right now, becoming a more effective rebounder." Last season, Post faced criticism for his defensive inconsistency. He knows that if he wants to keep growing and solidify his role long-term, that's the area he has to improve. Fortunately, he's not doing it alone. With the mentorship of Al Horford, who shares a similar playing style as a stretch 5, Post is in the right environment to evolve. If he continues to develop, especially on the defensive end, Quinton Post could be a key piece in the Warriors' rotation for years to come. And with Steph Curry leading by example, he's got one of the best blueprints in the game to learn from. But what makes Post's comments so striking isn't just his humility, it's the deeper acknowledgement of how Stephen Curry continues to reshape the game without always needing to light up the scoreboard. For a young player like Post, recognizing the power of Curry's off-ball move, leadership, and court gravity shows a level of maturity that's catching the attention of coaches and analysts alike. Internally, sources close to the team say the coaching staff has been impressed with Post's approach during training camp. While his shooting numbers draw the headlines, it's his willingness to learn and take ownership of his weakness, like rebounding and defensive, that's earned him growing respect in the locker room. In particular, his openness about needing to improve on the glass has resonated with veterans like Draymond Green and Kevin Looney, who have both taken on mentoring roles with him in recent weeks. During practices, Post has been seen working closely with assistant coaches focusing on boxing out drills, rebounding reads, and interior footwork, a sign that he's committed to rounding out his game. Outside of the Warriors camp, Post's preseason performance and his comments about Curry sparked interest across NBA media. Analysts on national shows highlighted the quote about Curry making everything easier, using it as yet another example of the intangible impact the two-time MVP has on his teammates. Former players and commentators have also pointed out that this kind of awareness, especially from a rookie, is rare, and could signal that Post has the mindset to stick in the league. You don't hear a lot of young bigs talking like that, said one analyst during a post-game breakdown. He understands the game beyond just stats. That's huge. Looking ahead, the Warriors see Post as a potential long-term piece, someone who can eventually fill a similar role to Al Horford, a smart, versatile big who stretches the floor, moves the ball, and plays within the system. If he can elevate his rebounding and improve his defensive reads, he may even find himself closing games down the line. For now, though, Post remains focused on the next step. There is still so much I need to work on, he said after the win over Portland. But being around guys like Steph, Draymond, Looney, it's helping me grow faster. I just want to keep earning my minutes. As the regular season approaches, all eyes will be on whether Post can carry his preseason momentum into meaningful games. And if he does, with Curry still drawing defenders and opening lanes, the Warriors might have found a valuable new weapon hiding in plain sight.